Hey folks, Pat here from DNS. This Madison area fishing report is current as of December 22nd. Well, I hope you all been good and Santa Claus brings you lots of presents and you got all your holiday shopping done. If you don't, I know a place for that special angler in your life, but we can talk a little bit about that later. A little bit of things going on around here at the shop. Kyle Zempel from Black Earth Angling Company stopped in the other day. He hosts these awesome events called Drinking with Scissors. I've talked about them in the past, but he's got his new schedule out. He's doing events at the Muska Lounge in Monona and then Skull Public House in Mount Horeb. So kind of alternating those. He does those on like every week, either on a Tuesday or a Thursday. It's just a super cool chance to come out and if you tie flies, you can just hang out. It's super casual. Kyle hosts these, kind of runs these small, fun little contests. There I am being a judge for one of those, but yeah, they're just super fun, casual events. Uh, just if you're a fly tyer, that's awesome. If you fly fish, I'm sure you'd be very interested. But even if you're fly curious, swing by and it's a great social time, a lot of fun watching folks. Some really talented folks do some really cool, fun things, and yeah, great social event. And of course, the Muska Lounge. If you've never been there, seriously, over in Monona, if you like fishing, which you probably do, you're listening to this report and you like beer and they got great food at Hank's, which is attached to the Musk Lounge, man, you got to check this place out. It's just fishing themed, kind of a cool Northwoods vibe, and right here in Madison. So yeah, give them a look too. But while I was over there, I picked up some stickers for the front window up here. I made a post about this later. We got a sticker window up here in the front of the shop finally going. If you or your business or something organization has a sticker you want to put up, swing by the shop and we'll put it up there. But while I was at the Drinking with Scissors, I got a sticker from this Veterans on the Fly, and of course these are great folks. They got they it's a group for veterans to teach fly fishing and fly tying. It's totally free to anybody that wants to join the group. They got a Facebook here, Veterans on the Fly. It is affiliated with Southern Wisconsin Trout Unlimited. So yeah, I didn't think I'd mentioned them before. And so yeah, if you know a veteran or you're a veteran yourself and are interested in fly fishing, this is a great way to get into it and meet other veterans. And it's full instruction. Everything's free, so why not, right? But yeah, great group of folks there at Veterans on the Fly. I also made a post that we will be closed Christmas Day. We will be open, though, all other days, New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve and all that. I got a couple things in the shop to talk about. I got these clam tikka flash minnows. These are very popular. I got a lot of people asking about them. Got some in here. They're also very hard to find. So yeah, swing in and check them out. It's a tungsten, tiny little fish body with this little spinner on the back. Gives it some great action. Ice safety. Ice is super sketchy if you can even find it. So spud bars, floating ice picks, rope, life preserver cushions, stuff like that is what you need. And we got a bunch of that stuff here at the shop. Otherwise, gift ideas, just one last time. Got a bunch of unique stuff, shop stuff, limited edition stuff, also gift cards. Who doesn't like a gift card? So, lots of cool stuff here at the shop. Swing in and pick up gifts for that special angler in your life. Otherwise, yeah, as far as the report goes, the warm streak just continues. Cherokee skimmed over earlier this week when we had a little cold weather come through, and believe it or not, a couple of guys ventured out there. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But with the forecast through Christmas and into next week saying warm temps and rain, I'm afraid we won't have any fishable ice in town here for a while. I'm hearing about more and more anglers actually unwinterizing their boats, and I can't blame them with the temps forecasted to not even be below freezing through next Thursday and mild temps through the New Year's. I mean, why not get out there and enjoy some open water fishing? I don't have a current temp for the buoy on Mendota, but I saw somebody online posted 39 degrees earlier this week. Rick Kruger posted, aka RK Diver, spoke here at our seminar series, posted that he had 36 degrees on Monona, I think 2 days ago. And the USGS monitor down here in Brittingham Bay was actually reading 33 degrees yesterday morning, and today is reading 35. So those temps definitely not headed in the right direction there. As far as launches go, a lot of people still asking about where they can get a boat in. Most of the piers have been pulled from the launches around town, but that's not to say you can't launch a boat to enjoy the warmer weather. The launches aren't closed. It's just that most don't have a pier in. But like I mentioned, the launch over here to Warner does have one pier in. That was iced up yesterday, but I got to imagine this warm weather is gonna free that up here pretty soon. Currently, as far as Mendota goes, I believe there's still a pier in over here to Marshall Park and then down at Spring Harbor as well. No, I don't have any word on when those might actually get pulled though. But and over on Lake Monona, there's still a pier in, at least one in up at Olbrich. The piers have been pulled at Olin, um, down to Wabisa. The Babcock, that the pier down there stays in all year, but they close the gate when they don't want anybody using it anymore. But that gate is still open. And also, I can't remember who it was that posted last week and mentioned that Fish Camp still has a pier in up there on the north end of Kegonsa. So thanks for that information. So yeah, I mean, why not? We don't have ice unless you want to drive north. Get out, get the boat out, and enjoy some fishing around town. Um, Generally, as far as a report goes, just like last week, without ice, there really isn't a lot to talk about. Folks are getting walleye up shallow mostly at night with some pike mixed in. Large fatheads, chubs, and shiners seem to generally be out producing lures these days. I'm sure muskie folks are still seeing some action, although muskie suckers are hard to come by around town. At least I did hear the bait box on the Rock down in Fort Atkinson has had a few. So if you're really hard up, maybe give them a call. They might have a couple left. Otherwise, so there's some good panfish action going on around town. We talk about that a little later. And area rivers are running at or just below their seasonal averages with open water for the most part. And hearing about good walleye and sauger action. So we'll talk about that in a little bit too. Otherwise, up here on Cherokee, like I said, it actually skimmed over. It was wide open on Monday, I believe. Skimmed over Monday night into Tuesday. Wednesday, the first couple guys ventured out. But the only ice that was there was a little bit of shelf ice in kind of this area here, and then some along this shore over this way. And that ice was a little bit thicker than the skim ice. From what one guy stopped back here in the shop said, he had 1.5 inches on this kind of older ice, and then once he got out to the new ice, it was an inch, and definitely not safe. And with this warm weather, there's no way it's gonna be safe for fishing. But yeah, and apparently just a bunch of small bluegills from that one guy I talked to. Otherwise, downstream here at 113, still hearing about a few pike and the occasional walleye coming out of there if it's not skimmed over. It was skimmed over yesterday morning, but this warm weather is going to open it up real quick again. Haven't heard a ton out of Lake Mendota. Like I said, the last temp that I heard was 39 degrees out here, so water's still pretty warm. Still hearing about some good walleye action and the occasional pike from shore anglers, especially on the walleye side of things along the university shoreline here up to Tenney Park, Warner breakwalls. But folks that are getting boats out are catching fish in a lot of those same kind of shallow, rocky areas closer to deep water. But it seems like the walleyes are still in their early ice pattern, if you want to call it that. I mean, we don't have ice, but they're still up shallow, and folks are still catching them. So that's good to hear. Down on Monona, the walleye bite continues to be good from the mouth of the Yahari here down to the Monona Terrace and along John Nolan Drive. Again, hearing more success from folks using live bait under like a lighted bobber at night than with a crank or swim baits. That's not to say those crankbaits and swim baits won't work. Just slow them down a little bit. Otherwise, haven't heard anything about panfish because, like every winter, all the panfish have moved into Monona Bay, and it sounds like the bluegills are pretty stacked in there. Some good there and in the triangles. Also heard about a few crappies mixed in, and they get walleyes around these trestles in here in the triangles, and so yeah, great opportunities to get out and get some good fishing down there. Like I said, I haven't heard much from muskie folks, but I know they're getting out because they call here looking for suckers. But yeah, I haven't heard much in the way of muskies, but I'm sure they're finding some action. Down on Wabisa, like I said, the Babcock launch remains open for now. I haven't heard a ton out of the lake itself. A little bit of walleye action down here by Babcock Park. Otherwise, it sounds like just like on Monona Bay, all the Wabisa panfish tend to move into Upper Mud Lake to overwinter there. And even though there's no ice out there right now, they are stacked over there. So yeah, if you can get a boat launched and launched up there, probably get into some great panfish action. Down in Kegonsa, haven't heard much out of here. Maybe a little walleye action by the state park, but again, the fish camp launch is open down there. As far as other stuff outside of the chain outside of the chain, Kashkanang, I haven't heard a ton out of here. It sounds like they've had an also an on again, off again relationship with ice. Indian Ford Dam, a couple walleyes and saugers out of there. I heard one guy tell me, but otherwise, yeah, Kashkanang, if you can launch a boat, that's great. There should be open water up here by Black Hawk Island, and they've been getting some walleye near the mouth of the river, and from there all the way up to Fort Atkinson and past, deeper holes all the way up through the river up to Fort Atkinson, and then of course the Jefferson Dam, always a good spot for walleyes up there. Um, I haven't heard anything out of Beaver Dam. I don't know what the ice situation up there was. I know they had ice, but I certainly wouldn't trust it anymore. Um, over on the Wisconsin River. The levels are just at or below their seasonal averages for this time of year. Haven't heard much action on the river itself, but the dams are on fire like usual. Walleyes and saugers stack up behind those dams. So Prairie du Sac, Dells, Castle Rock, Petenwell, all pretty great options. Lake Wisconsin, also on again, off again relationship with ice. I talked to a couple guys that said they went up there Tuesday and it was open, and Tuesday it was locked up, and Wednesday it was open, or something like that. So maybe call one of the area shops up there, and maybe Wilderness and Sauk would know, or one of the bars on the lake here. Ask them what the situation is, because that sounds like that changes day to day. But I've been hearing about some decent walleye action. A lot of shorter fish from a lot of guys I talked to, but folks are definitely getting up there. The Fingers over here in Harmony Grove had some ice. I'm not sure the status of that. Haven't heard anything out of Wayland's Grade. I imagine that's open or very sketchy by now. Like I said, the Dells Dam, heard about some great numbers of fish up here. Hard to find size, but I've heard from folks saying 80, you know, you know, 90 fish days up here. It was just, but yeah, a lot of short fish. Same thing, Castle Rock, Petenwell. Haven't heard about folks getting out on the lakes themselves, but the dams are a pretty safe bet. Mississippi River, I heard some backwaters up in the La Crosse area had some ice earlier. Not sure the condition of that ice currently, but if you're looking for ice, you got to at least go north of La Crosse these days. So, but even I know up at north of Eau Claire, they're even struggling up there, and even way up north. I mean, I read a report from one of the bait shops up here, even way up in way up north here. The lakes up there, they're only 4 to 6 inches ice. Some of the big lakes don't even have ice right now. So, and usually they're driving out on the ice by now. So yeah, it's an odd winter to say the least. Over to Milwaukee, the brown trout and steelhead continue to be caught in the harbors. Racine, Kenosha, Milwaukee up here. Those fish are being caught in pretty good numbers in the harbors still, and they swim up the rivers. So, and if we can get a little bit of rain here, we'll get a little bit more action as far as fish swimming up the rivers. I plan to be out there myself, probably Christmas Day, maybe the day after. I don't know. We'll see how long I'm in Milwaukee for family stuff. But anyway, it's the same situation all the way up and down the East Coast. Those browns swim up the river to spawn. Steelhead follow them to eat their eggs, and then the steelhead, a lot of them will hang out in those rivers through the winter. So, great opportunities to get over there. Why not? We don't have ice. Get over there and chase some steel. Other than that, I guess. Oh, and I guess we'll do the fly thing. So, I mentioned this several times. We have lots of custom ice jigs here, tied by Uncle Kurt. Does a fantastic job. But another kind of overlooked fly, and I hesitate to call this an ice fly, but folks use it through the ice, and it just smashes bluegills. So it's a pink squirrel, and it was invented by John Bethke, who's a Wisconsin guy. I think he lives over in Crawford County. Anyway, I don't know what it is about this fly, but it's a mystery. It doesn't look like anything. It's kind of gaudy and weird looking. This fly will outfish any other fly on a trout stream, and it is just a fantastic bluegill fly. So we got them in size 12, 14, and 16 here. Swing in and pick some up. They're great through the ice. The size 12s are nice and heavy. They got tungsten beads on them, and just a fantastic fly. And then we got trout season. Like I said, inland trout is closed right now, but it opens in just 15 days. Not like I'm counting or anything, but this could be the best winter fly that exists. I mean, I use them in the winter all the time, and they do well, but they work all season really. So anyway, I guess like I said, happy holidays to everybody. Stop in the shop, pick up some gifts. Feel free to call the shop if you want me to expand on anything here. 241-4225. Post your comments and catches below. Otherwise, have a safe and happy holiday season. We'll talk to you next week, and thanks for tuning in.